Listen to this. These are the beautiful sounds of Nluu. Nluu is an indigenous language spoken by the two cluster of the San people of South Africa. But currently, 92-year-old Ouma Katrina Esau is the only one who can speak it fluently. The San people are the oldest surviving hunter-gatherer communities of southern Africa. They lived in the vast stretches of the Kalahari Desert, spanning areas that are now known as Namibia, Botswana and South Africa.
Dat voel nie lekker nie. Dat voel nie lekker nie. Jy praat, jy loop, jy weet jy praat, jy verlang na iemand wat kan net by jou sit.
But the absence of someone to speak the language with is not Katrina's only concern. During South Africa's colonialism and apartheid, people who spoke Nluu were often made fun of. By 1973, many Nluu speakers like her had switched to Afrikaans and their dialect was declared extinct. This forced Katrina to give up speaking her mother tongue more often as a little girl after it was ridiculed by others.
Maar so het ons kam, wat ons jong meisies het, toe praat ons nie meer die taal nie. En so het ons net as ons by die huis is.
Nluu, however, re-emerged during the 1990s in the Northern Cape. At the time, there was a group of about 20 elderly people who could speak it fluently, among them Katrina and her siblings. Unfortunately, the rest have all died, making her the only surviving fluent speaker of Nluu. And today, Katrina is doing everything she can to save it. For decades now, Katrina has been teaching the language to the youngsters in her community in a tiny classroom at her house in Rosedale outside Appington in the Northern Cape. Her teachings are done through phrases and songs. Katrina's granddaughter, Claudia Sinman, is one of her keenest proteges and language activist who co-authored one of Nluu children's book with her grandmother in 2021. In 2023, Katrina was awarded an honorary doctorate at the University of Cape for preserving the Nluu language and its culture. However, Claudia is worried that their efforts to turn the wheel could be hampered by her grandmother's failing health.
Ons ken nog elsie en ons wil hê die dag dat ouma nie meer is. Ouma se harte weer.
Claudia is not the only one worried about losing her language. Miles away from Nluu speakers' home in southern Africa, another clan tucked away in a pristine jungle in Kenya is racing against time to save their language from fading into history.
Yakunte is a language spoken by the indigenous community of Yaaku, and it is classified as critically endangered languages by UNESCO in Kenya.
The disappearance of Yakunte was almost unnoticeable. See, the Yaakus believed to have migrated from Ethiopia, assimilated with the predominantly Maasai community living in Laikipia. And after decades of practicing the new culture and speaking the new language, Yakunte slowly started to die as the Yaaku people buried their elders. By 2019, 113-year-old Stephen Leeriman and his 95-year-old brother Leeriman were the only fluent speakers of Yakunte in a clan of an estimated 10,000 people.
Anayezungumza lugha hii ya Kiyaku ni wachache. Wameanza kuwa watu kwa kifo.
Leeriman, not one to resign to fate, made it his life's mission to revive Yakunte, earning himself the title professor among his people.
He's a professor for the Yaaku community, for the language, culture, environment, and all about the conservation. Whenever he's being interviewed about his culture and everything to do with the Yaaku language, all that, he used to give it like from the heart, deeply from the heart. And he used to get things correctly. Whenever the linguists and also the anthropologists go and interview other people, it's just telling they marry each other. So they decided to call him professor.
Julian Lorisho is Leeriman's granddaughter, and as the professor's protege, she diligently learned 10 new Yakunte words daily as a child.
I remember that he says, if you won't learn your language and you don't know your culture, you're like a zebra without stripes. So that's what puts me like, if a zebra doesn't have stripes, it will lose the meaning of being called a zebra.
Lorisho now teaches about 300 students, both elders and children, twice a week. She hopes they will be fluent in Yakunte after about 5 years of attending class.
I'm passing the tradition, knowledge, and also the culture that I've gotten from my grandfather. He brought me up when I was 7 years old. So after getting the knowledge as a young generation, I saw that it is of great impact for me to come and give back to my people.
But the lessons are more than just saving a language. They are about preserving the Yaaku's new home.
Sholomai Tepuai in Yakunte language means this is my home. We have Sholomai Cave, one of the biggest caves in the landscape, and it used to host the Nluu clan. In the history, the cave was big enough to host a whole clan, their livestock, their cattle. You also find shelves in the cave that they used to store their honey. In the cave, you will find the old drawings of wild animals that were used to be hunted by Yaaku community. You also find a very big natural tank that was used by the clan for storage of water. The tank used to store water that was used by the clan for more than 3 months. The Yaaku people are forest dwellers and they are conservationists by nature.
And our language is connected to the forest. Our forest is connected to our livelihoods. And we must stand together in solidarity to say that we must strongly like to practice conservation every day. We teach the importance as we also do the language revitalization. The words are connected.
The Shulumai Community Conservancy, spanning 6,000 hectares, is home to the Yaakus and a wide range of wildlife.
When I teach the community learners, let me say the Yaaku class, using an example of animals, like for example elephant, we call them sohome, and also the lions. Let me say they get easily because of their characters and how they live with the Yaaku community.
Africa is a linguistically and culturally rich continent with 2,158 languages. However, UNESCO is concerned that like Nluu and Yakunte, about 523 indigenous languages have been classified as critically endangered.
When we lose a language, two of the most important things that I think we lose, the first one is an identity, because people have a close relationship to their language and it makes them who they are, and subsequently people tend to feel a lack of sense of belonging. The other thing we lose is history, because if a language dies, we don't get access to the history, the type of people, the type of words they use and how those words link to other languages, so we lose a history.
Although it may take years, South Africa's Nluu community and Kenya's Yaaku clan remain hopeful that one day their nearly forgotten languages will thrive again.